Good morning, everyone. It's Thursday, January 21st. From the San Antonio Express News, my name is Luis Vasquez, and this is your Express Briefing. All of the stories you need to know to start your day. You can expect another gray, rainy day today with a high of 66 degrees. We should see some sun Friday before light rain and clouds make a return to San Antonio this weekend. A new era in American politics officially began Wednesday. Vice President Kamala Harris broke the barrier that has kept men at the top ranks of American power for more than 2 centuries when she took the oath to hold the nation's second highest office. Read more about the inauguration over at expressnews.com. Our top story today is about the coronavirus vaccine, our best hope of getting things back to normal. But before you read that, know that researchers at the University of Texas Medical Branch at Galveston say COVID-19 vaccines may become annual shots. And with that, let's move on to our top stories for the day. Vaccines are considered the best weapon against a disease that has now killed more than 400,000 Americans. But a little more than a month into the distribution of shots, demand for vaccines has far outstripped the existing supply. That's meant that thousands of San Antonians who are eligible for the shots are still dealing with busy phone lines, online appointments that fill up in minutes, and frustrations when trying to secure shots. Head over to expressnews.com to read our Q&A with Dr. Joanne Turner, a scientist who serves as Texas Biomedical Research Institute's Vice President for Research. She explains how vaccines are developed and why communities are still struggling to secure supplies. President Joe Biden on Wednesday took office leading a fractured nation, trumpeting the strength of a democracy tested and calling for Americans to come together even as his first actions in office sparked tension with Texas Republicans. The Biden administration, with Kamala Harris taking office as the first woman, first black person, and first Asian American to serve as vice president, began with an inauguration unlike any other. Biden went to work swiftly, signing a flurry of executive actions aimed at corralling the coronavirus and taking his first steps towards undoing many of the signature policies of Donald Trump's presidency. Read more about Biden's inaugural address and his first actions as president in Benjamin Werman's and James Osborne's latest column. Elena Ayala writes, quote, "Inaugurations are always remarkable, sacred moments. The bright, shiny pomp and circumstance that Washington puts on celebrates a democratic nation that acknowledges its union is not quite yet perfect. It's young, fragile, and imperfect. That it strives to be perfect, however, has been embedded in ceremonial rituals and in repeating words of wisdom. At their best, they can help mend political wounds, at least for a day. Perhaps only a moment. They make us more hopeful of their promise, more sure that this American experiment can right itself and mend its foundations. It's a little wobbly now. I'm not sure that the inauguration Wednesday, the pomp, the pop stars, and the poetry, and a new president will mend us, but it's a start." Read the rest of Elena Ayala's column over at expressnews.com. Kaylee Wakefield, the Johnson girls basketball team's lone senior, was alone on the court. Her proud parents, Dexter and Kelly Wakefield, stood behind her one level up at Littleton Gym as they were all introduced as part of the Jaguar Senior Night ceremony. Any other season, Wakefield's parents would have taken the court with her. This season, amid the COVID-19 pandemic, the facility is not allowing anyone other than game day personnel on the court. "It was different," Wakefield said. "Last year, the seniors' parents got to be with them, and this year, my parents didn't get to be with me. This is a sign of what everyone is going through and how we have to change our ways so we can stay safe." David Hinojosa has a closer look at how Northeast ISD and District 28-6A have changed plans on the fly. For the first time this year, new COVID-19 cases in San Antonio have fallen to fewer than 1,000. Officials reported 850 new cases on Wednesday. There were 174 new admissions to hospitals, a figure Mayor Ron Nirenberg called troubling and very high. Be sure to head over to expressnews.com to stay up to date on everything COVID-19. Next up are your need-to-know headlines. You can find all of these headlines and more inside of your Express News subscription. As President Joe Biden was sworn in, Texas Democrats were cheering the day as the end of a shameful era, while Republicans who fought to deny Biden's win are trumpeting a peaceful transfer of power. We have what Texas lawmakers said over at expressnews.com. 5 individuals convicted of crimes in Texas were among Donald Trump's 73 pardons and 70 commutations he issued during the final hours of his presidency Tuesday night. We have the 5 Texas convicts who received pardons or clemency over on our website. A weird error on some San Antonians' water bill resulted in wrong comparison averages, but it doesn't affect how much the customer has to pay. We have why some people might be confused about their neighbor's water use in Liz Hardaway's latest story. With more than 1,400 patients with COVID-19 in area hospitals, San Antonio officials feel the pressure to quickly get shots into the arms of those who need protection the most. The problem is, there's not enough vaccine to go around. Laura Garcia has more in her latest article. During a year upended by COVID-19, San Antonio's housing market boomed. Last year, a record 38,448 homes were sold in Bexar and surrounding counties, an 11.2% increase compared with 2019, according to the San Antonio Board of Realtors. San Antonio's disinfecting robot manufacturer, Xenex, kicked off 2021 by expanding. With sales soaring 600% in 2020, due largely to the COVID-19 pandemic, the privately held firm outgrew its old space, but it's found a new home. San Antonio officials plan to seek substantial changes to how the city's law enforcement officers are disciplined when the city and police unions sit down to bang out a new police contract this year. A Travis County district judge has dismissed a case brought by conservative activist Michael Quinn Sullivan, the leader of Empowered Texans, and ordered him to pay thousands of dollars in ethics fines that date back over a decade. As San Antonio City Council elections start to ramp up, one District 2 candidate has vastly outraised all of his opponents so far, including incumbent councilwoman Jada Andrews Sullivan. Spurs assistant coach Becky Hammon looks to be on her way to becoming an NBA head coach. Vicki Johnson, a former WNBA teammate of Hammon's, believes Hammon would have already attained that title if she were a man. Mayor Ron Nirenberg has asked the Biden administration to ship vaccines directly to cities. The new administration should agree to this request, writes the Express News editorial board. Head over to expressnews.com to read that full editorial. The first thing Spurs teammates noticed about Keldon Johnson is his smile. His perpetually sunny disposition has been a welcome addition to a locker room that operates by the mantra of good vibes only. Around teammates, Johnson also can be, chatty. He can be gregarious. To hear DeJounte Murray tell it, Johnson's chattiness makes him a good candidate to become the team's next vocal leader, even at the age of 21. Few players in Spurs history have announced themselves as quickly as Johnson did. We have why his numbers suggest Johnson could reach the same heights as Tim Duncan and David Robinson in Jeff McDonald's latest article. Wiz Khalifa's Hot Box by Wiz restaurant serves flaming hot Cheeto-crusted mac and cheese with buffalo chicken. The new delivery-only restaurant serves this obsession-worthy mac, plus spicy burnt ends, and a great bowl of chili, even though it has beans. Check out everything you need to know about Wiz Khalifa's new restaurant in Paul Stevens' latest article. The original Walker Texas Ranger came by its Lone Star flavor honestly. The long-running TV series was shot and cast in this state. These actors who tried out for the iconic 90s Western left with memories but no jobs. Chuck Blount has your first look inside Pinkerton's Barbecue, a barbecue restaurant set to open in downtown San Antonio soon. Check out Kathy Rosenthal's new Animal Matters column to read how new ordinances now in effect allow pet stores to only sell rescued dogs and cats and lay out more rules for feeding strays. Tom Hanks's Texas set Western, News of the World, is available at home now on streaming services and cable on demand. Check out what else is new and notable in home entertainment this week over at expressnews.com. And that's all for today. This was your Express Briefing for Thursday, January 21st. My name is Luis Vasquez. Please consider becoming an Express News subscriber to get in-depth coverage on all the stories you heard today. Also, be sure to rate and review this podcast inside of your Apple Podcast app, as it really helps the show. Have a wonderful day, everyone.